Welcome
This is an awesome podcast. This is one of my favorite ones.
to the Jeff
That's a lot of whiskey, Jeff.
Macolino
Jeff Macolino.
podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Got a fun one for you today with Daniel Kline. So as far as the movies, Thanksgiving again, concurrently as of this recording, this moment in time, which is July 3rd. Hope everyone had a happy 4th of July. You can find Thanksgiving again on Plex, on your TV, on Fossum, which is on your TV. And you can watch on your mobile device on Story TV. As far as the last ride, and again, it's also been licensed to Tubi. That doesn't mean it's on Tubi. That means generally within 90 days, it will be on Tubi. It was licensed 45 days ago. Secondly, The Last Ride can be seen currently only on Story TV. It has been licensed to Fossum. It's not up there yet. It's been licensed to Tubi. It's not up there yet. You'll be able to watch it on your TV soon. I don't have exact dates. They don't tell you. So I just have to check every day. But if you're following me on socials, you'll know. All right. Let's go to Daniel Kline. He's a screenwriter and director. We talk a good amount about, we talk about filmmaking, but we talk about the 48-hour challenges he's done, which are really cool. Something I would like to do in the future. I was actually thinking I might do one later this year. I'm probably not going to, solely because I got something else that I think is something that can be done before the end of the year, film-wise, which is an aggressive thing, saying on July 3rd, saying something I think can be done before the end of the year. So anyways, I'll tell you more about that at a later date. Sit back, relax, and enjoy me and Daniel Kline. All right, everybody. I am very pleased to welcome Daniel Kline to the Jeff Macolino podcast. How are you this late night?
I'm doing good. Yeah.
Good. I just realized my lap. Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
I always appreciate when the guest drinks.
Yeah, right?
A lot of times, if I do like a 1 or 2 p.m. podcast, I certainly understand normal people wouldn't be drinking, but I do.
Yeah.
It's just part of the game.
Yeah. This is a pear cider that I brewed. And so it's pretty good. It's real crisp.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I'm going with Canadian Club, although I realized I'm looking right at a bottle of old Raleigh. I had the guy who owns that distillery on, and I should probably drink, but that's an expensive bottle. He sent me a bottle that is like $90, and it's like, well, that's a special occasion bottle. That's probably not a podcast chugging it out of a pint glass drink. That's
Yeah.
It's also a first drink of the night drink. You don't waste the good stuff. But yeah, it's at some point I'll maybe I'll have him back on, and then I'll drink his whiskey with him. That would be appropriate.
You're saving it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did try it on the podcast for the first time in one of my intros, I think. Maybe an outro. I don't remember. I'm a drunk. I don't I don't remember getting home yesterday. I went out day drinking with some friends, and I got it Ubered home at 5:41 p.m., and I don't remember it. So that tells you I went hard. I actually woke up on my recliner at like 9 p.m. and started drinking again.
Just in time, right?
Yeah, well, I just need 4 hours, and I still had a little bit of buzz going. I was I'm going through some shit with I mentioned the catfish thing. And I'm like 98% sure she's catfishing me, but that 2% chance, like I'm not sending her money, I'm not giving her any personal information, like so she can steal my identity.
What's
Um,
the thing that you're hung up on? Like, what's
well,
telling you that you're being catfished?
she's too hot. She We've only been messaging a few days, maybe 5, so it's not weird we haven't met in person yet. But she, has been like, oh, let me look at my calendar. So we don't have anything on the books. She sends me some pictures, and my buddy used AI to find who this is. And it is someone who used to have what is now deleted, but some pirated images and videos still exist out there. You know how it is.
Hmm.
She was a model, if you catch my drift,
Hmm.
and just solo stuff, by the way, from what I found. So last night when I was drunk, I called her out and I'm like, "Are you this person, or are you using this person's pictures?" And she said, "Oh, that was me. I deleted it all, but it still exists." And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean that she's that person. She's just going with that's the story she's going with is
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
am this person. And by the way, if she is this person, I'm in and talking like I don't care that like I'm like so what if my friends like some guys I think get upset about it, but I'm like so if my friends can go and see you naked and you are literally a perfect 10. I've never seen a woman with ever top to bottom. So it's like, I don't care if my friends can search you online and find you naked. Like, they'll just be jealous of me. It's not like I'm not losing anything. Um, so I don't give a shit about that. So I'm like, this would be the dream scenario for me because also when stories about me doing coke off a stripper's ass come up later in the light in time, she can't judge me on that. I'm not judging her.
That's true.
So I mean, I'm like, this would be. I don't think it's real, but it would be the perfect scenario for me, where like you've got a past, I've got a past. We can joke about it. Um, and I'm wondering. The only thing I'm thinking is like maybe she'll stoop down to my level and date a guy 9 years older than her because she does have that past that maybe you know. And at this point, I've got like the daddy issues look locked in.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to convince my yeah it's like yeah I'm not going to send her money. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to give her my social security number or anything like that. But like seems like there's no risk in at least following it through to see like worst case I'm getting someone else sending me hot pictures of a beautiful woman.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you're already winning.
Yeah, yeah, like I've already found some stuff that will, be go-to material for my own time. So it's already a victory for me. She was asking me where she could listen to my podcast, and I like, yeah, you probably don't want to do that. Well, Daniel, you are a fellow filmmaker.
I am.
Let's talk. I You sent me the trailer for Starlight, and that's a short.
Yeah, that's a short film. That's kind of a passion project that I've been working on forever. So
The
yeah,
quality's
that's
good.
yeah, thank you. So just kind of give you a little background with that. That was the first script I ever wrote. It's like 15 years ago, something like that. First script I ever wrote. And the first the first draft it was unreadable completely. And as they are. And just kind of like as I learned more about like storytelling and screenwriting throughout the years and gotten more experience, so too the story evolved and just got better and richer, and the characters got more in depth. And um this is a story that just kind of like grew alongside me through my journey. And I finally got to the point where I had produced a few short films. Excuse me. I had gotten to the point where I had produced a few short films, and I felt like it was time to tackle that one. And so I went back and just kind of polished up the script a little bit more, and we filmed it. And it's cool that it's kind of it's been like a huge community thing. Like every filmmaker that I know in this area hopped onto it, and it became their passion project too. And so it was just super cool to see, everyone to come together on that.
Nice.
Um,
How long is it?
um, Last I looked at it, I think I looked at the timeline earlier today, and I think it lands just about 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah,
So yeah,
it
it's pretty
had
good.
the trailer
Pretty
made it
decent.
feel like bigger than a short, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, the one of the iterations, it started out as a short film, and then it grew to a movie, and then it grew to like I think I'd imagine it being like a mini series type thing, like one season, 8 episodes type thing, and then it just kind of shrank back into like something that was a little more realistic for me. So I mean, it is a story that feels big, but it's a it's a story about like multiple dimensions, and this character who has like I guess superpower. He's got the ability to travel the dimensions, and he's using this ability to kind of to unravel the mystery of what happened to his friend, and try to help her. Uh, and behind the beneath the, what do you call it, the flashy sci-fi exterior, I wanted to write a story that was more like human and more grounded, because it is a story about connection and reconciliation, and a little bit of forgiveness in there as well. So I mean, it's not preachy, but it's just like it is a bit more of an emotional journey than one might expect from a sci-fi. So
Yeah, no, that sounds
yeah.
great. I look forward to seeing it. And I see my thought when you were talking about the evolution of it is, well, the good news is you kind of it's not like you haven't left the door open for it being a series or a feature down in the
Yeah.
future. Yeah,
Yeah.
like this could be a proof of concept. Like, look at how good this is. Pay me money to make this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when I shrunk it down from the series into the short film, I didn't adapt the entire series into a short film. Essentially, I just took like this story exists within the world of the larger series. Like those characters, those storylines and everything, none of that's been touched. It's just this concept is like these characters could appear in another season, if I really wanted to. But yeah, I didn't try to condense the whole series, because that was a few iterations of that script, was where I was trying to condense the whole series into a short film, and for obvious reasons it wasn't working.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it can be too much, too packed.
it was very much too much.
Yeah. It's a it all comes down to what you can, in my opinion, it all comes down to what you can afford to film. Uh I have a weird uh I think because the first two things I filmed were features, I'm like when I've had some people approach me like, "Hey, do you want to do a short?" I'm like, "Nah, not really." Like I would do, and this is something we'll touch on in a little bit. I would do like a 48-hour challenge as a fun thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I have no behind the camera skills. I can write. I guess that's behind the camera. I can have a general vision. Like I directed Thanksgiving again, and I knew what I wanted to see, but I wasn't the camera operator. I was for two scenes, but in general, I was not the camera operator because I'm not qualified to do that. Like I tend to think of myself as a writer and actor that's forced to be a producer and director, and I think I'm good at the production stuff. Aside from scheduling, I've always made my producer Rick. He's always in charge of all of the scheduling. I'll give him the dates I want to do, He's in charge of talking to all the actors and everybody else and figuring that out. I am not like that's like a nightmare to me.
I'm such a nerd for that kind of stuff. Anyone who's worked with me knows that I've got a spreadsheet for everything. I make I literally make spreadsheets for everything. Most of my spreadsheets are automated. They do different things, do different, change different colors based on like what's happening. And so yeah, I'm a huge nerd for logistics like that.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty good at everything except for scheduling people. And I think it's just because I don't like reaching out to people. And also
that's
with
kind of yeah.
at Thanksgiving again, especially, I was directing the movie, and I feel like sometimes the scheduler needs to be a bit not the bad guy, but like, hey, we need dates, like the bad cop, if there is a bad cop.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to set that relationship up from the start. Like all of my conversations with the actors were about the characters they were playing and their wardrobe, not about the schedule. Like if they brought up the schedule, I would say talk to Rick. I don't know. I don't want to know. I mean, I went over it with him. Like that was the first night we checked into the Airbnb, June 1st last year. We had probably an 8-hour meeting going over every detail of the schedule. So I mean, it's not like I'm absentee. I just don't want the people schedule part. Like I do the food schedule. I'm happy to do the although Sierra, my associate producer, took over most of that role, thankfully.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I did Drunk Jeff for the last ride. I had to go through the script and figure out my character eats a lot in that movie in the car. So it's like, all right, what food am I getting for this scene? Where am I getting it from? When am I getting it? And so like one scene, I'm eating a McDonald's burger. This script just says a burger, a fast food burger in the car,
Yeah.
and we were shooting that scene at 9 a.m. So I'm like, all right, tonight. I did this weeks in advance, but I'm like, all right, the night before, I need to order a McDonald's burger, and I'll just heat it up tomorrow and eat it. Man, it was disgusting. Eating a McDonald's, eating a McDonald's McDouble or whatever the fuck it was that was
Ugh.
old at 9 in the morning. I have I'm supposed to look at the burger and be disgusted. That was authentic. That was not fake. That was not acting. It was like, oh, this
Oh
is
my God, I need to see this
painful.
now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how many burgers did you end up eating? I mean, did you eat like a new burger every time you reshot the scene?
No, it was the same burger. I was strategic.
Okay.
I also had fries.
Okay.
So I'd go to the fries, I'd take one bite out of the burger. So I think we took 2 or 3 takes tops. So it just, the burger was half eaten by the
Yeah.
third take, which might have been the one we used. I think it actually was because yeah, timing wise, I think that was the one that worked. Um, but yeah, and then I had Arby's for one scene. That was my favorite. That was ordered fresh. That was our lunch that day. It was like we're shooting this scene at noon. Well, guess what's going to be lunch that day? Arby's, and I'll just eat the sandwich. I'll eat part of my lunch on in the movie.
They're like,
Um,
all Jeff's already eaten.
yeah, well, and that was easy because they come in the foil wrap. So I just unwrapped it strategically, and just it looked like a new sandwich based on how I was opening it.
Yeah. Huh.
Um, so yeah, little trick. But I did notice I was watching Thanksgiving again, or I had Thanksgiving again on the TV playing since it's now on Plex. Everyone,
Congrats,
Plex
by the
and
way.
Fawsome and Story TV, and it will be on Tubi. So all the free places. But I had it playing. Ad revenue adds up. And there's a scene early in the movie where we're eating pizza, which is legitimately my mother's pizza. She made the pizza and brought it to the set for the cast. And it was in the script that we were eating her pizza too.
Yeah.
Um, well, my fictional mother's pizza, but nonetheless. And there's a scene where we're eating the pizza, and right before I have a line, I take a bite. Cheese is like stuck in my mouth, and I take it out smoothly, put it down, wipe my mouth with a napkin, and deliver a line while I'm still chewing the food. And I'm like, you know what? I will say, I might be one of the best actors in the universe at talking with my mouth full. It's a unique skill, but I'm great at talking with my mouth full. I'm very used to it from my old days. It's Drunk Jeff Eats. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of footage of me in these two movies eating during a take, and I don't fake it. There's some actors who fake eating. I don't. I
Con-
go all in.
So considering you wrote that, did you write that knowing that you were going to be eating, or did it just kind of like happen in the story both
I
times?
knew we were gonna all we're supposed to all be eating pizza, and I think four of the five actors in the scenes do talk with food in their mouth. Like
Okay.
my mom's pizza is delicious, so I think that's part of it too. Is like, yeah, I want to eat this. I'm not gonna let it sit here. But yeah, I was proud of that scene because I do think four of the five actors do talk with food in their mouth, including two who I don't think would want to. But it's something I always notice. So I'm always very conscientious of actually eating and drinking when you're in a scene because I notice it when I watch TV shows and movies when people just toss food around on their plate and never actually put food in their mouth. Like my
Hmm.
son and I just started watching The Middle, and I constantly am like, "Oh, look, a character actually ate food." Like, what a novel idea! So somebody put food in their mouth when they're sitting at the table, and it bothers me for some reason. So that's something as a filmmaker or as just an actor, you put food in front of me or a drink in front of me, I'm going to eat or drink it because that's what normal people do.
Yeah. But also, like, kind of the other side of that is, depending on how big the production is or how long they've been filming that, like, if they take a bite of that, that means that that plate has to get reset, and they have to eat a
Hmm.
bite of that every single time. And then also, like, is there a chef readily available, or are we, going through leftovers? And
I
so,
would.
like, is the
I was
food
the
just
chef.
disgusting? So,
I was the chef on Thanksgiving again, and some food was made not to taste good, but just to look like food.
okay.
Um, because we needed it to last 9 days. So I made two baked ziti, and I said, if you need to eat food, that's the go-to. Like these are legit. They're good. Um, we bought mac and cheese and made it look like we made it homemade. That was edible. Not delicious, but it was edible because the food gets cold. Like you put it on the
Yeah.
table, you set up the cameras, lights, mics, and everything, and then you're eating cold food.
Yeah.
I'm like, the stuffing's edible, but not recommended because it's not made correctly. The mashed potatoes had no dairy in it because it would have gone bad. So I'm like, but I wouldn't eat it. You can put it on your plate, but don't eat it. The salad we always bought fresh, so that because that doesn't last more than 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Um, so there were some edible things, and there were some not. I think most of the food that was eaten in scenes was the baked ziti because that was the safe food to eat.
Yeah.
The turkey, the only person who took a bite of the turkey at the very, very, very tail end of the credits. The last thing you see, if you watch to the very end of the movie, is me ripping off one of the legs of the turkey and taking a bite of it, and I spit it out. Uh,
I was gonna say, how sick did you get?
it was we seasoned it to look good on camera, not to taste good.
Ugh.
Like it was like, oh, let's add some darker spices, and then we cooked it, and then we froze it and recooked it 9 days later. So it was it was not it was flavorful. I mean, it did have flavor. It was just not.
Tastes like something.
Yeah, yeah. So
Salmonella, among other things.
I learned that I don't ever want to make a movie where cooking is so much of like the day before we started filming. Me and my producer spent the whole day in the kitchen cooking food. And it's like, this is not, I feel like this is not the best thing to have to do. the day. Like if it was a bigger budget movie, you hire someone to bake the food and everything's edible and you can get two turkeys instead of one. And but like
Hmm.
turkeys are expensive. Like a full-size turkey, if we can do one
And you
instead
just
of
went,
two,
yeah, you just went full send into the whole meal. Like
yeah.
food is really difficult. You just did the whole thing.
Well, you know how hard it is to find a turkey in June? It's actually not easy.
Yeah.
Most stores did not have turkeys. We were literally looking like, could we get a chicken? Would that? It's not quite big enough, but maybe we can sell it and it, like maybe a duck. Because I found duck and I found chicken, but turkey, it took like five Publixes to actually stumble across
Hmm.
one that had a turkey in June. Um, yeah. Yeah, those are the things people don't realize about movies. Like it's not one reason I actually told the editor, I'm like, we're putting this in the credits, me ripping the turkey, because I want people to know it was an actual turkey. It wasn't like a plastic turkey that we tried to make look real. It was a real turkey. So I just wanted that in there for the historical record that we did actually cook a turkey while we were filming scenes. The oven's on and the turkey's cooking. We had an alarm set to be like, "Hey, at this time we need to take the turkey out. Let's try to make sure this is not while we're in the middle of a scene."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That set, man, was because most of it's inside one house.
Hmm.
And so the whole cast is inside the same house all day together for most of 2 weeks. And it's like that could have gone if anyone was an asshole, that could have been the most miserable experience of all of our lives. But it was just a magical group of people where it was like, oh, we're like a family.
That's awesome. What was the cruise size for that one?
Um, I was the director, so we'll say I'm one. My producer Rick, who handled all of the lighting and several other things. Um, Jeremiah was the DP, and we had Sierra was the associate producer. She wasn't there the whole time. She had to leave after I think the first week. We had two college interns who I ended up paying more than the stipend I told them I'd pay, and we gave them nicer titles than interns. And another guy who was there probably half the time handled audio, Luke. So I guess eight.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
usually there was
decent.
five per day, I would say. Like not the college kids didn't make it every day, Luke didn't make it every day, and Sierra was halfway. Rick, Jeremiah, and I were there every day. But yeah, I would say probably five. The college intern route was the smartest thing I've ever done.
Was it
Um,
a film program or
yeah, I emailed a couple schools in I think it was St. Pete College and Eckerd College. And they have film department, film school major, whatever it is. And I emailed the dean of that area and said, "Hey, we've got this movie shooting. We'll pay a gas stipend daily, and if you have any students, you think." And they both just sent one, and they were both fantastic. We couldn't have made the movie without them, frankly.
it's
Like
awesome.
that's but it was I'm looking at a shoestring budget and I'm like, we need a couple more people. I do think ideally there would have been one more person. I could have used a script supervisor
Mm.
to kind of. It was tough with a time loop movie is easy in wardrobe, in that all characters wear the same clothes, except for I wanted the main character who's in the time loop to change her clothes. So that's the one thing she can change about the day is what she wears. Um, Honestly, the first wardrobe error in the whole movie, though, is me because I was wearing different shoes in a scene. Um, her outfit changes sometimes. What's supposed to be a day, but I always said, in editing, I'm like, well, who says it's the same day? Like, it's a time loop movie. It could have been this was yesterday, this is today.
Yeah.
It's a cheap cop out. It was a mistake on my part not keeping better track of wardrobe. But that's of all the things I'm doing, I'm like, it would have been nice to have somebody else be like, this is what she was wearing. Everyone
Yeah.
got it? Good. Uh, so yeah. But yeah. I like a lean crew. I think bigger crews have too many voices. And I don't, it probably sounds mean, but like everyone has their own ideas, and sometimes it takes a lot longer. If in my experience as an actor, it takes a lot longer the bigger the crew is to set up a shot. The smaller it is, it's usually faster to get everything put together.
Yeah.
Um,
I can see what you mean.
yeah, I was this past weekend, so Friday night, I had an 8 p.m. call time. I didn't get home until 4:45 a.m.
Jeez.
This was
For
a
sure.
horror film, and I had a great time, and they worked together well. I think there were like 6 people, and they've all worked together a bunch of times, and it wasn't the most efficient, but it wasn't like their fault. It was actually like the it's a horror movie, so it was actually the fake arms. So, spoiler alert. I get killed
Fake
by a
arms.
werewolf, and I get my arms ripped off and my head ripped off. And there were some technical difficulties with the design. Like the fake arms were too short. It was so hot and humid that the Velcro that she used for the rip off sleeves
Yeah.
um, just didn't hold up. So we did it a couple times, and then it's like, the sleeves hanging down near his elbow. It's clearly not. It's clearly not an arm. Uh, so what are you gonna do? Like that. That's one of those things where it's like you can't. You just have to adjust on the fly. Like,
How'd they manage to do the head getting ripped off? How'd they manage that?
um, I'm curious how it's gonna look in post.
Okay. All right.
They did a couple shots where I think the one they're going to use is a close up of the werewolf's hands on my head, and he quickly twists me, and off camera I fall. And they have a decapitated head. I was so that role they wanted straggly, beat up Southern redneck kind of look. So I had my hair and beard grown out for like the last month. I was so happy to shave that the day after. Um, but he asked me like 2 days before, like, "Hey, would you be clean shaven?" And I'm like, "I can't. I got something else lined up, and I look like a 16-year-old for a month if I am clean shaven. I take a long time to grow this in." Uh, I'm like, I can do what I got now, and he's like, no, 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 longer is better. Just the decapitated head doesn't have a beard. He didn't mention it also had a humongous nose, and light brown hair. It's like it's
So clearly
never
not you.
gonna pass for me in a million, and it's very pale. And I don't know if you can tell, I'm pretty tan. I go on walks every day in Florida,
Yeah.
and I don't wear sunscreen, so I get fuck sunscreen. I get a lot of, I'm pretty dark. So I'm like, yeah, that's not in any universe gonna pass for me, whether I'm shaven or not. I guess if a quick glance. So I was wearing a hat, so they were able to kind of get a shot where you mostly just see the hat, and it was super
Okay.
dark outside, obviously at 3 in the morning when
Yeah.
we were filming it. But yeah, it was they were, I would say, and they kept apologizing like we're usually quicker and more efficient, and I'm like, I think you're being about as efficient as possible given the stuff you can't control. Um, but yeah, I still think back to Haunted Happy Hour, the movie where I met the guy who directed The Last Ride and my producer Rick. They were basically a two-man crew. They set up all of the light, the camera, the lighting, the audio, and the director probably helped a little bit, but it was basically a two-man crew. There were a bunch of PAs doing stuff like running to get food and whatnot. But I'm like, the first movie I was on, sometimes it would be four actors and a couple background actors and like 25 to 30 crew members. And they took triple the time to set up. Like, it's like, I'm just thinking maybe smaller is more efficient. Maybe.
I mean, yeah, I mean, so for Starlight, so we had a principal shoot and then we had a few pickups. For the principal shoot, we had about 36 crew members. And it was like you said, it was a bit slower, and I will give you that. But I think it was divided in such a way where everyone had like one job and they were able to do that one job like super well because that's all they had to focus on.
Mm.
And so I think it just comes down to having a killer AD when you've got a crew that size, which, you know, um, I don't think our AD was up to the task of directing that many people and keeping us on schedule. But it worked really well. And then when we had our pickup shoots for a couple of scenes, we leaned it down to like I think our smallest one had like 3 or 4 crew members, and then most of the time we were having like six to seven, and it was going really well. But yeah, so long-winded answer of yeah, I kind of agree to that, but also a large crew can do something really magical.
If there's clear, you're right. I've never been in a situation where I've experienced it, but like you, if there's clear delineation, this is your job. This is your job.
Mhm.
Don't talk about, hey, we should do this. That's not your job. Your job
Exactly.
is
Yep.
to get the audio. Your job is to set up the lights. Um, yeah, I do. I could see that being good. Um, I need to catch myself of I try to bite my tongue when I'm on a set as just an actor because so often when I hear them being like, "Oh, how do we want to shoot this?" I'll be like, "Well, I have an idea." And it's like, "That's not my job." Like, shut up. Shut up. Don't talk.
Yep.
um and that's probably did I don't know Friday if how I did at that. I think I had a couple suggestions like, well, yeah, one of them was like, "Oh yeah, we're thinking we're gonna have him tackle you to the ground," and I'm like, hmm,
Me not.
uh, there was just a raccoon here a couple minutes ago, and like, I don't know, I don't want to get rabies, like, I went to the ground, but it was like he put me down on my knees, ripped my arms off, and then I fell from my knees, which is I can not injure myself doing that, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not having a guy my size tackle me full on to the ground multiple times. There is zero chance. Like I won't get up. Like you're gonna have to shoot the rest of my scenes with me lying in that on the ground and then call an ambulance. So it was yeah, but so I think I made a few. I probably made more suggestions than I would have liked to. Um, but you never know. There was the see like the first thing I did, I caught myself, but it was with Jeremiah and Luke, the audio guy and the DP, and I was playing a character. They were trying to figure out how to shoot a scene, and they were like, and I'm like, well, I'm like, no, it's not my movie. And they're like, no, go ahead. Like we've worked together before. We value your input. Um, because I don't always know the camera movement type stuff, like what's the
Yeah.
best way to do this or shoot. But I'm like, I know what would be most stimulating to me.
Yeah. I feel like
Um,
like the hierarchy of input that I accept when I'm directing, I would say actors are pretty close to the top. Like especially for the 48, a lot of ideas came from the actors. Um and so I mean there's a time to say like no, we're going to stick to the script, but sometimes the actors can bring something real special because they're like, it's they're doing it,
yeah, actors, good actors, I think, have an understanding of what makes them look good, or at least look like what they want to portray.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that it's not. Let me think of the word. It probably is valuable input. Um, there's a fine line between, like I explained, the first set I was ever on, and I was a lead actor, and scenes took forever because everyone's like, wait, let's move this here so I can do this with the lighting. No, let's move this here. Let's get the boom from underneath so that we can. And it was just like, no, just pick you like, stay in your lane kind of thing. Like, I get
Hmm.
some communication, but it was like, took hours. And then the last day of shooting was supposed to be 2 days, the last weekend we shot. And it ended up being, he's like, well, the rest we're supposed to do tomorrow. Do you guys know your lines and everything? Because we can just finish it today. And we're like, yes, let's please do that. Because it was only four crew the last day.
Oh
And
my
it
God.
just, we mowed through 2 days of stuff in one day because everything was just set up quick, shot. Like it's simple. Sometimes I think I got in somewhat of an argument. I think when the actors were not around with one or two of my crew in Thanksgiving again, that I would kind of be like, look, we're not making this movie for film school. We're making this movie for an audience. I want people who like comedy to watch this movie. I don't give a shit if they use it as a thesis in a film school. It doesn't need to be the way that they say it needs to be. Sometimes, like, oh, we need more camera movement. I'm like, no, sometimes you fucking point and shoot. It's simple. It doesn't need it's a 30-second scene. Just shoot the
Hmm.
fucking scene. The story is what matters, not the film school bullshit. Um, and I understand why that can be an abrasive thing to say as someone who didn't go to film school. But I also think sometimes that's something that needs to be said, frankly, is like this. What do you want? What's the goal of this movie? Because I don't want someone being like, wow, that was artsy. No, I want someone to be like, hey, that was funny. So let's focus on making sure we get the actor saying the line clearly. That's all that's really what matters. Ultimately, that's the goal.
Hmm.
Um, it's cool when there are scenes where we can implement little movement without without it just being on a tripod standing still. But you don't need to obsess over it. And also, I didn't even realize, I'm an idiot. Editing can do a lot of camera movement. Like,
It can,
if you're
yeah.
shooting in 4K, you can zoom, you can pan, like, you can do a lot in editing. You don't need to do it all on the day of. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need as much coverage as you think. Like, there's one scene where we get a shot of three of us sitting at the table, and the scene cuts to two shots. It's all shot in one thing, but if you shoot it in 4K, you can zoom in pretty well and pan and do all this stuff. And it's like, I didn't even realize we could do that, and I was trying to make it more simple. And knowing that you can do that, why would you ever overcomplicate it? I Yeah. There are, I will say, and I'm curious how you are, because I think this varies a lot with how people are about coverage. Um, I try to do as few takes as possible, you know, and there are scenes that I regret in Thanksgiving again because I'm like, damn it, didn't notice this take, this in the background, or this where a script supervisor comes in handy also. I'm like, I didn't see this, and boy, I wish we had one more take. Or the actors I thought did it well, and this is mostly in scenes I'm in.
Hmm.
So when I'm acting, I was playing myself basically. So I wasn't concerned about the quality of my acting, but I do realize when I'm acting, I'm not like monitoring exactly what the other characters are saying. I'm listening to them. So if they get the point across, it's fine. But sometimes I'm like, oh, that's so clumsily worded. Why didn't I make them do it again? And it's because I didn't notice it and no one else said anything. So script
Yeah.
supervisor. Uh, then there are people who want 17 takes from a million different angles so that they can heavily edit it. Um, yeah,
Personally, I
I'm a big fan of rolling takes, by the way. If you can do rolling takes with just like it's a short scene, you got to say this, just okay, reset, go again.
yep. Do
That
it, yeah, we did quite a bit of that. No, personally, I feel like three takes is a bit of a sweet spot.
hmm
Depending on how complicated the movement is or the blocking or the dialogue itself. 4 or 5 might be acceptable, but I don't think unless like something big is happening, I don't see myself pushing past 5 at the max, 5 or 6. And I think the only times I've ever done that was because it was a very technically complicated scene. Like especially in Starlight, we had some scenes where we had a VFX supervisor on set, and so we were planning for the VFX that he was going to be doing. And so some of the movements had to be exact, precise. Like we had the grid marked out on the camera. We had it like marked out like in real space so that like the actor could see exactly where his hand needed to land for a certain spot. Yeah, just stuff like that. So I think for that one, I think we might have gotten like 8 or 9 takes, but most of it's run and gun style, 2, 3 takes at the most. Um, but yeah, that's typically how I like to roll. And I feel like you get at least some really good material with 3 takes. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that probably would be the average of mine is three. I never. It was interesting on the set I was on Friday. They did a lot of things. Just if one take they thought it was good, they stuck with it. I'm like, ooh, I always
that's
do a safety.
scary. That's scary. Yeah, two's the minimum.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
For me, it was a minimum, unless it was rolling takes, and then
yeah, true.
then you get three or four in one take. Technically, like I'm like, I don't see the need to reset if you're a still camera, especially, just
Yeah.
start back from the beginning. It's also I going through the footage. Some of that's funny because it just you know. Actually, there was I think the only scene we shot in one take. My son rips up a book and you can't reconstitute a book. So it was like, boy, this you got like you got to do it, kid. Like, and there was no, it was MOS, so it was like, all right, we don't have to worry about audio. He
Yeah.
just needs to rip up the book. Sam, the actress, needs to just look annoyed. That's it. Like, just it should
Keep
be
it
simple
simple.
enough. And if it doesn't work, we cut the scene from the movie. Basically, it was like, uh, you know, but
Did it work?
yeah, yeah, it worked. It
Good,
worked.
good.
It's in the montage scene. So, uh, yeah. So I loved shooting those. Was amazing. Those scenes were amazing because you can just play music. You don't have to capture audio. I'm
Hmm.
like, ah, yes. Not having to figure out how to boom the thing. So good.
Hmm.
Uh, I've got to ask you about the 48-hour challenge that I teased about an hour ago.
It was so much fun. Oh my gosh. So just so I know, how much do you know about it, or should I just go through the whole
Yeah,
thing?
I guess explain the whole thing because I would guess my audience, we've been pretty inside baseball with filmmaking, I feel like, but I don't think my
Okay.
audience probably has any clue what a 48-hour challenge is.
Okay, yeah. So the 48-hour film challenge is something that takes place all over the world. Each state or city or region that it takes place in, it takes place throughout the year, so it's not like it's all on one weekend. Ours was last weekend, and for the state of South Carolina. And another thing to note is you can actually participate in any of them. So if you're feeling brave and you want to compete in the France one, you can actually participate in it, even from Florida or from South Carolina or wherever. So anyone can participate in any of them. So I would definitely give it a shot. But yeah, so imagine like those cooking shows where like the chefs come in and they give you like a plate of marshmallows and like some spaghetti noodles, and they're like, we need you to make a Michelin star style meal out of this. And so it's like they give you like the bare minimum and they have like 10 minutes to do it. So that's the 48 is kind of the film version of that. The only so you pretty much you sign up as a team leader, and then you spend as much or as little time as you want building a team, and your team can be just you. Your team can be 20, 30 people. There's no limits, big or small. But yeah, so you plan your logistics. So you can find your locations, you can find, your wardrobe, just like however much you can gather, but you're not allowed to plan anything creatively. Not that you can anyway, but I'll get to that in a second. But then you go to kickoff night, which is at Friday, which is on Friday at it's like kickoff was like 6 p.m. or something like that. But you go to kickoff event, and they give every single team the same exact prompts. So it is a prompt, is a character, and it is a line of dialogue that your film has to have. So every single team gets those. So this year, everyone got the prop was a salt shaker. The character was either Alexander Watson or Alexandra Watson. And that person had to be a detective of some kind. And then the line of dialogue that had to be in your film verbatim was, "This is a horrible idea." And so they give everyone the same exact prompts. And then you literally go up and you draw out of a hat your genre.
Oh,
And that's it. And that's, yeah. And
so
so
you
once
draw that
base
out of a hat. It's not uniform across the board.
No, yeah. So everyone gets the same prompts, but everyone gets different genres. So you get to see kind of like what everyone does with it. So you draw two genres. You can either choose to do one or the other, or you can mix them both. And so we got workplace film and action adventure,
That's pretty good
which is
considering the other prompts, I think.
yeah. I mean, like there are like 40 something genres. Like it's like planning this thing ahead of time creatively, it's against the rules, but it's almost impossible anyway, because
Right.
you could be handed a period piece musical, and at that point, what are you doing with that? So
Probably
like
not what
they've
you
got
planned for.
yeah, I mean, I just knew that I was going to get genres that it was game over for me, because
No, for a detective and
a salt shaker,
mm,
and then this is a horrible idea. Now,
how much does the salt shaker need to be involved? Can it just be the character uses it?
it just needs to appear on screen. That's literally it. It does
Okay.
not have to be the center of your story. It doesn't have to, like, not even the detective has to be the center of the story. They just have to appear on screen. And so, people do it to varying degrees, but they do hand out different awards for like best use of the prop or best use of the line on top of like cinematography and directing and all that sort of stuff. So like there's a bunch of different little subcategories that you can win. But the exciting thing is, not only are you making a film start to finish, like you write it, you act, you film it, and then you have like your whole post process, your audio mixing, your soundtrack, everything
The
in 48
editing,
hours. Yep.
that's,
And you
I
deliver
mean,
it at what?
do you have to be done filming it like within 24 hours, I feel like.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that's so here's my thought. And you're a veteran, so and I'm obviously completely never done one of these. My thought is you want to assemble a team of versatile people who can be crew or actors. You want
Hmm.
some men, you want some women, and you probably you want at least a couple actors who really are good at improvisation because I feel like
Hmm.
if you could write a loose story instead of a firm script and the
Hmm.
actors can figure it out, that's kind of the uh the secret sauce and saves you a lot of time.
You've got the strategy. That's it.
All right.
That's exactly what we did. We had yeah, so we had three actors who were like more than capable of like improving lines if they needed to. Um but kind of how I did this was I divided it up into different teams. I wanted to structure it like a baton race because I did not myself, nor did I want to ask anyone to be up for more than 24 or 48 hours, because that is misery. And I know some people who did that. They worked on every single part of the process, and that's just burnout material. So I had a writing team of four people, and I appointed one of them as the lead writer. And pretty much, I was saying, you have, we got our prompts at 7 p.m. and I'm like, you have until 10 p.m. to pitch me an idea that I like. And so they pitched me an idea, and I'm like, oh, well, we can't really do that. I'm not a huge fan of that idea. And so I'm like, let's start from the ground up, let's try this again. And then the second idea that they gave me was so good. I was giggling. I'm like, this is so good. It's gonna be great. Um, and so yeah, and so they gave me that second idea by like 9 p.m. So they're already ahead of schedule. They're Yeah, it's just deadlines. You just set a lot of deadlines. So I had the deadline for a script was 2 a.m. They handed it to me at midnight. Actually, it was like 12:40. They handed it to me at 12:40. I read it. I'm like, okay, this is really good. I need this, this, and this changed just because, like, I think the line of dialogue wasn't exactly correct, and like, there's a couple of things. Yeah, they're really strict. You will get disqualified at the drop of a hat if like something's off, because they do have like some rules. But yeah, so it was just a couple of tweaks, and then they had their um, they had it done. And then we filmed from 7 a.m. and we were scheduled to wrap at 4. We pretty much finished it at 2. It was great. It was very much run and gun style, in the best way possible, which definitely worked to our advantage. And then the secret sauce was, I had our editor on the call sheet. So we were supposed to be wrapped by 4. I had him come in at lunch, so at noon, and he started editing while we were filming.
Yeah.
So we just dumped all that morning's footage and audio and everything. And so when we wrapped at 4, within 3 hours we had a watchable cut of the whole thing. And then at that point he had a whole day to mix it and tweak it and color it and just make it look good. And so our team structure was really awesome, and everyone did so good. We ended up adapting comedy into it, so we did a workplace comedy with action elements. And
That's where my head went. Before you told me even what the
oh yeah,
genres were, I'm like, oh, come on.
oh yeah. And you can adapt other I think their rule is if you do both of your genres, you can adapt a third one into it.
Hmm.
So instead of like just abandoning what they gave you and just doing your own thing.
So you got
So yeah.
pretty lucky with your
Oh
poll.
my God.
Like if you got a
One of
musical
them,
period piece.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think. Somebody got it was like they got like Femme Fatale and I was like French Revolution or something like that. I was like, how are you going to do that? That was the only team that I was not envious of. But yeah, I mean, a lot of a lot of the teams drew some really good ones. Like one of them was like rom-com revenge. And I was like, oh, that'd be that you could do a lot with that. That'd be really good,
Oh
especially with
yeah.
like a detective and stuff. But
Well, and that kind of
um
gives you three genres to play with already. Like
yeah,
rom-com and is kind of two, like to an
yeah,
extent.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, no, the musical one would be the one where it'd be like, fuck, I don't know if my actress can sing.
I don't think anyone drew musical this year. Um, and I think we were all sweating when we were drawing the names because I was like, please don't be musical. I wouldn't even begin to know what to do with it. Another thing I have not said yet about our team was by the time I decided that I was going to be leading my team, literally everyone that I knew was already on the team. And so I had to just network the crap out of like every circle that I had and just kind of scrounge together people who were interested in film. So we ended up with a team like total all three sections of the team consisted of like 18 people. Of those 18 people, three people had ever worked on a film set before.
The
Three
three had worked on.
had worked on a film set
Wow.
before. That leaves 15 people who were just vaguely interested in film, had
Fish
no
out
idea
of
what they were
water.
doing. Yeah, and so it's like when we got on set, like my first hour and a half was literally just going from person to person, just being like, okay, this is what you're doing, like this is how you do it, and like everyone did so well. They just locked in and like were receiving instructions. And by the time we started shooting, a lot of them acted like pros. Like they really understood the assignment that was given to them. And I had the writers write it in such a way where it could be run and gun style. So it is a little bit, it's not a true mockumentary where you got like the talking heads interviews type thing, but it is shot mockumentary style. So it's like a camera following a person as this event is happening. But it's really like, I don't think it's going to win Best Short or anything like that, but it might win like an Audience Choice Award because I don't know. Not that's a bit pretentious to say, but I have you know the struggle of like when you're editing something, you get sick of your own work.
Yeah.
Like by the third or fourth time you've watched it, you hate this. I watched it dozens of times while we were editing it. I laughed every single time because like I don't know the jokes that the writers wrote and the things that the actors improv were just it was just a perfect storm. It was so funny.
Right.
But
And how long is
so
it?
it's 4 to 7 minutes.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah. Well, that's the only way I could see an editor actually finishing it.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
the edit process. And I didn't edit Thanksgiving again, but I sat in with
hmm
the DP edited it, and I was there
Oh, good.
with him. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is like Chinese water torture, man. Like a lot of times I'm
It's
like, I'll pick the take, but then color correcting this, that, the other. I'm like, ooh, this is
it's
this
a
is
whole world. Yeah, it's a whole world. Editing completely overwhelms me, and I was really grateful I didn't have to do it this year. Because I can like I've got enough editing skills to put together like a rough cut, but don't ask me to do any sort of like coloring special effects or like I use DaVinci and I don't even use the Fairlight or Fusion tabs because I have no idea what those mean. But I feel like I
I
can roughly put together,
I've blacked out that experience. Hey, he used DaVinci. And he was learning it as he went because he had never
Oh
used
my
it
gosh.
before, or maybe he had, but not the version that was out. And every version apparently is a lot different. Um, so yeah, I blacked
Yeah.
that out. Can we take a quick pee break?
Yeah, sure.
You don't have to pee. I do. You
I'll
can
get a
pee if you
refill.
want to.
I'll get a refill.
And we're back. Uh,
Yay.
uh, yeah, I wasn't gonna do to you what I told this story recently, and as it's been so many years now, I feel less guilty about it. But I had early on, I had a chick on my podcast, attractive chick, and we were done recording. And I'm the kind of guy, I have very low self-esteem, and I don't interrupt women, like, especially not attractive ones. And she was talking, and this after the podcast, she's telling me the story, and I'm like, I gotta piss so bad. And I'm like trying to gesture her, but she's clearly not looking at me or not understanding what holding up a finger means. And eventually, like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna piss myself. So I, off camera, obviously, pull my dick out. I take, I believe, this very same pint glass
Oh my God.
and pee in it. And when you really have to pee, you pee a lot more than a pint. So I just had piss all over my feet, all
Oh
over
my
the floor,
God.
and a pint full of piss in my hand. Um, she just keeps telling the story. All the time.
You're
She
like in
clearly,
crisis mode.
like, I was like, I had another podcast. I don't know why I was uncomfortable with being like, hey, let's take a pee break. I'll be right back. Like I just did with you. But I like was like, I gotta piss. And I ask a question, and I even say something like, take your time answering this one, and I run off. These are not video podcasts, so I don't even know which ones they were. But it was a couple times it happened where I run off and go pee while they're answering a question, and it's like I obviously wasn't even listening to their response because I was not in the room. Um, but yeah,
Oh my
listen to
God.
enough Rogan, and people are like, "I gotta piss. Let's take a break." And it's like, all right, that's an okay thing to do. I'm not doing 3 hour podcasts, so it's not really generally necessary as I'm spilling on myself because I over poured my drink. Ugh. See, now I'm making a mess in another way. Do you see why I don't want the chick who is probably catfishing me listening to this podcast?
Yep.
Well, I'm fascinated. I've kind of talked about the 48-hour challenge idea with Christopher P. Smith and Rick McConicle. Rick, the producer, and Chris, the director and writer of The Last Ride.
Mhm.
About, and I'm one of those people who is very egotistical and or narcissistic. I have the lowest self-esteem of anyone I know, but I also have the highest self.
I like you do.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm obviously being catfished because why would a hot chick talk to me? But then I'm like, well, I would be extremely valuable in a 48-hour challenge because I can write, act, improv. That's about it. Uh, but people who can do more than one thing, like someone who can do audio and can act, super valuable. Like, because maybe you're going to act, maybe you're going to be holding the boom mic, but
Yeah.
you're going to be doing something. Someone who can write and act, I think when you were talking about it, I'm like, oddly enough, workplace comedy. How many of the actors in the office were in the writers' room?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that would if you had
That's actually
actors.
everyone in the annex.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's why they put them back
yeah,
there.
BJ and Kelly, and then
Yeah.
I think Steve Carell joined in
He
later in the
he wrote
run.
he, yeah, he wrote several episodes. And then also, oh my gosh, what was it's Paul Lieberman. It's Toby's character.
Mm,
He was one of the writers.
yeah, Toby.
Um,
Yeah, and the funny thing is when you do the deep dive, listen to the Office podcast that Baumgartner
mhm.
did, it's like a lot like Steve Carell improv the whole hating Toby thing. Like that was not
Really,
like Steve
I
Carell
did not know
improved
that.
a shit ton. Like
That's
he
perfect.
just that's why they added him to the writers room eventually because he was just going to make stuff up on the fly anyways. Um I didn't realize how much of that show and it was mostly Steve Carell's character apparently. He's just a brilliant improvisation guy.
Hmm.
But that's the kind of guy you want is someone who can act, improv, and write. And that's the and then behind the camera people, you want the people who can do lighting, do sound, run the
Yeah.
camera if need be. Like, yeah, it would be interesting building a super team of people to do a task like that.
Yeah. I don't want to get too far from it because I don't want to forget to say this, but here is why you should participate. So it's a city competition. When I say a city, it depends on how many cities participate in your state. Like technically our city is South Carolina because South Carolina only has one. So but anyway, um so it the winner of like the best overall film from that city, they get their film featured at a film festival called Filmapalooza, and that's basically like the worldwide version of all the 48s. So basically all the winners of every city in the world, their films get featured there. And it's like this big thing. And it changes location every year. Like I think it was in Seattle last year. It's in Curacao this year, which is an island in the Caribbean, which would be really cool to go to if you win. But yeah, and so they all get featured there, and then if your film wins there, you go straight to Cannes Film Festival.
Wow.
Like your film gets shown at Cannes. So it's like it is it is possible to fast track your way to Cannes Film Festival with an actual film there. Um, but at the very least, going to Filmpalooza with your winning film is a huge accomplishment because, we all did this in 48 hours. So,
Yeah, and it's, one thing I've learned from the festival circuit, and I would say I've had a successful run with both movies. Now, I've made a lot of mistakes. Like, why did I spend $45 to submit to this film festival? That, like, and I also realized some film festivals are all encompassing. Like, you enter your project and you're eligible for everything, like T-Buff. Like, they consider you across all categories, which I love those film festivals. Some of them you have, I'm sure you have to select the category.
yeah.
And there's some, and some of this, trying to think of the best way to say it, is
I,
self-awareness of what is the best part of your film.
yeah. I do have a really quick sidebar about this.
Yeah.
I am on the selection committee for a festival here in South Carolina, and I was actually watching films today, and like there were a couple of films that I came across that was like, this would be brilliant if it was submitted um as a comedy, but it was like they did a blanket like best short, and I kind of got the vibe that they were like it wasn't actually a comedy, but it was like, so it's like sometimes, selecting a specific category and submitting as like best comedy or best horror, like that does have its advantages because like some movies like that one, I'm like, this would be a hilarious comedy because I was actually laughing out loud, but I'm like, I think this movie is actually very serious. So, yeah. So, I mean, I see what you're talking about, but that's just kind of the other side of it.
Yeah,
Considering
well,
that's something I experienced this morning.
I realized so The Last Ride is a good example, and I'm this is the movie. I'm very proud of it. Um, the award most won, far and away, is me winning Best Lead Actor. And there's a lot of film festivals where I entered us for just, Best Feature.
Mhm.
And we won one. And actually, funny enough, I didn't even enter us in that category.
Really
Like, I actually just did Best Lead Actor in that one. And we won Best Feature and Best Lead Actor. um,
interesting. Okay.
so I think that it was just maybe the movies they had weren't very good. And they're like, well, we got to put something in here and we don't want to be embarrassed by it. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe it was that good that they're like, this needs to, I don't
Yeah.
know how the inner workings of each festival work. I would say I'm looking at a couple, that are still forthcoming, and I'm like, man, I wish I put me for best lead actor because I bet we would have had a better chance of winning because filmmakers are egotistical just the same as actors. They don't want to win best act. They don't even get their name on the award if their best lead actor wins the award.
Hmm.
The actor gets the award. Now, I always argue it's a team sport, and me winning best lead actor means the director did a fucking great job. The producer did a
Yeah.
great fucking job. All my co-stars did a great job. And I've won 5 of those, and I think we've won 11 total awards. So obviously that's the category where we're hitting the most. Um, Thanksgiving again, best ensemble cast. I think we've won 4 of them. If it gets considered, that's the one I'm going for because I knew inherently that was the one that suits us best.
Yeah.
Um, Best comedy is I think we've won one best comedy feature. Which actually that festival, I gotta say, so Wolf Media Fest. The coolest thing of any film festival I've been a part of was that they had an agreement with a pretty new streamer called Story TV, and take independent shorts and features, and they just deal directly with the filmmaker, no distributor, and it's non-exclusive, so it doesn't prohibit you from going into a deal with another non-exclusive distributor. Um, and they have a guaranteed monthly payment. If no one watches your
Hmm.
film, you get paid money. I don't know if shorts and features are different.
Hmm.
Um, but the winners of each category were guaranteed streaming on if you want it, you're guaranteed streaming on their platform. And I'm like, why don't more festivals do that? Like that just makes so much sense. And Story TV, I don't know if it's going to be bankrupt in 6 months or whether it's going to be the next Tubi. But it's an exciting idea at least, and it's
Yeah.
definitely the most friendly to the filmmaker of any. Again, being able to cut out. I don't know how much you've dealt with trying to get things distributed, but it's
Actually, I haven't done a ton of distribution, so that's one thing I haven't done a ton of yet.
you may want to because you have a few shorts in the bank, right?
I do. I've got one that is on the festival circuit right now, and then Starlight is my second one. That's the second one of my stories that I produced and am distributing, but I have produced like 6 other shorts but I'm not really responsible for those distributions. So,
Yeah, well, it
but
just something to consider. I could give you the
yeah,
details off air, but Story TV takes shorts, so I mean that's I don't know if the guaranteed
interesting.
minimum's the same, but and it's not like it would take me decades to make my money back on the budget, but it's like, well, but it's at least something. Like it's better than nothing. And if it blows up, you've got stuff on there that people can watch. You've got a catalog. Um, yeah, I don't know. Well, ask me in a month if I got a payment from them.
I will ask you in a month.
uh, but uh, but yeah, those kind of things are like, well, but the idea from a festival perspective of making it any. So they did monthly awards, but they had an annual winner. So you won a monthly award, you were a nominee for the annual award. And then they did the
Interesting.
annual awards, and Thanksgiving EM won Best Comedy Feature. And I was able to leverage that with The Last Ride, and they took both of them. You don't
Nice.
have to win the award to get in. They want quality films. And actually, Haunted Happy Hour, which I mentioned earlier, I told the guy who made that, and he got that on there too. So right now they have like 100 movies on there, and I am in three of them. So basically, if someone
Nice.
only watches Story TV, I'm like the Kevin Hart of that universe. Why is this guy in everything? It's a dream I have of like some kid somewhere is like, I get to watch one movie a day on Story TV. God, this Jeff Macolino guy is in everything. He must be super famous. uh, you know,
Yeah.
it's fun. We'll have to figure out. I know we've talked about it. We'll have to figure out some sort of collaboration in the future.
Yeah. Hey, even if it's on the next 48.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, not to brag, I do think I'd be valuable in a couple realms there. I think writing, acting, and I've got really good stamina. Like I could probably take a 4 hour nap somewhere in that 48 hours and just
I
be
was gonna
there.
say, if you're gonna choose writing and acting, you gotta be prepared to be working for about 24 hours at that point.
Well, I mean, if you this past Friday, I woke up at 7 a.m., did not take a nap. I worked a little side hustle job throughout the day. I drove there, I acted, I got home at 4:45. I drank, and I don't remember whether I did work or watched a movie, or I don't remember what I did. I was pretty exhausted. But I was up until 7 a.m. Like I made a full 24-hour day. Um and probably could have gone further if depending on the substances I choose to use.
True,
Uh
true.
But yeah, but just give me a little cat nap in there, 4 hours. I think I could work 44 out of 48 hours. Now, I'm not going to be much help in editing, but so I probably don't need to be.
Yeah.
My thought is you get my original thought, and I guess it's probably not very cost effective, but my thought was like you get an Airbnb for like 3 days, and y'all get there, you go to the thing, pull your topics. You're all there. You just take shifts sleeping and working and whatever. And that's obviously the location of the film, but I guess that could
Yeah.
backfire on you depending on what you pull out of the
Yeah.
hat.
That's the thing you don't know.
You get a really modern house and you get period piece and musical, and you're like, well, fuck musical, period piece. Oh shit, nothing in this house works.
Yep. Oh my God. I don't think I've been that nervous in a while last week when we were drawing our name or our genres. Because I think locations, I was having a really hard time finding a location. And the place that I had access to, it was a film studio that they had just bought like this old church. And it was still set up like a church too. So it was like this just really old building. And I'm like, I hope we can use this to some way. And so as workplace action, workplace comedy action. Um, Essentially we settled on a story about a televangelist, and it's okay. Here's the log line. The log line of it is a sketchy televangelist and his hacker friend uh, try to play it cool when a detective randomly drops by, except they're really bad at playing it cool. And so that's it. And so it's like the hacker, their paranoia throughout the hacker overreacts to literally everything. And it was such a perfect through line that essentially leads to this moment of like kicking the hornet's nest, where like the detective like eventually figures everything out, and it gives way to the most ridiculous chase scene that still gives me the giggles every time I see it. Yeah, it's like a ridiculous chase scene where like someone takes a sandwich to the face. Like the actor just did that. He ran by our crafty table, picked up a sandwich, turned around, and just pelted it at the other actor, hit him square in the face, gave him a bloody nose. It kept running. It was perfect. It was incredible. So yeah, so that's what we did.
Wow. Now I need to see this one.
Yeah, so the kind of the rule is so we have the premiere event where we're going to watch all the films, and then they're going to announce the winner because they're being judged this week. So we filmed them last week, and then the premiere slash announcement for winners is next week. So it's the 20th or whatever day that is. No, not 20th, 26th or something like that. But anyway, it's next week. Um, so until then, legally the film is owned by the 48, but once that event happens and like awards are given and everything, officially the film is yours. So once I get that, I'll be able to post it to YouTube, and I will definitely share a link with you.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a yeah, I like the route you went with it. It's very similar to where I would probably have gone with it. Like it was, I mean, the throwing the sandwich and causing a bloody nose, that's just a gift from God. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's like that was real. That was real stuff.
that's like Walter White landing the pizza on the roof. Bryan
Yeah,
Cranston
that turned
landing the
into
pizza
like
on the
this
roof
whole thing.
in
Yeah.
the first time. Like they thought, they said like there's no way this is going to happen. Let's just give it a few shots. And the very first take he did it. And you can even see him turn and look like, did I just fucking do that? Like cuz he was as shocked as anyone else.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, that's sometimes you get magic, you know.
And sometimes it's a bloody nose.
And it's bloody nose can be magic. I the dumbest thing, there's a I haven't written the scripts for it, but I have like loose outlines for a TV series I always thought. And one of the episodes ends with me getting punched in the face. And I always thought, boy, it would be great if the actor didn't pull his punch and actually hit me, because I get bloody
Oh
noses
my
pretty
gosh.
easily. Like, and just roll, like, I don't want him to break my nose, but I
Yeah,
would like him
yeah.
to hit me square in the nose so that blood comes out naturally. That would just be so much better than it's kind of like I'm. You probably know this. The why am I blanking on the movie? Django Unchained, where Leo crushes a glass in his hand and it really
Yeah, it's like
slashes his hand,
real. Yeah,
and he just keeps on going. I'm like, yeah, that scene. I don't know that I would remember that scene if not for the blood. Like that made the scene, and he just kept
yeah.
rolling with it, and it's like, damn, that's the kind of actor I want to be. So it was just like, yeah, my nose is bleeding, so what? That's maybe that'll be something I lean into. And I've got a couple movies where I get, you know Not as vicious as me getting my head ripped off and my arms ripped off, but you know,
Yeah.
just tell the actor like, just give me a good, don't full force, but give me a good solid punch here, and I'll probably start bleeding. Although with the mustache, I don't know that how visible it would be, but we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. I can shave the
Gotta make it
mustache.
worth it. Right?
Yeah, I got a bloody nose for no reason. No one can see it. That is by the way, that is the worst thing in a scene where something awesome happens and it's like, yeah, it's just not usable. Like, it's like, oh, that's great. I wish we could use it. We can use it in bloopers. We can use it in like, here's another take, but it doesn't work in the movie. But damn, there is a scene I noticed where in Thanksgiving again, where the guy who plays Joseph, Mike, spilled his wine, which was actually flat diet ginger ale, on his shirt, and you can see it. And he had just done it before the take, and my son is sitting in the foreground of the shot, and you can just see he's like still laughing about the whole debacle of him spilling on himself. And you can see his shirt if you know where to look. If you don't, you're never going to notice it.
Yeah.
You can see his shirt is wet from here down. And you can see my son like covering up, like he's like shaking kind of. And it's not a failure of anything because, you know, I think it's part of the montage. So you don't know what the hell's going on. He could be laughing. There's no reason he can't be laughing. If you see the guy's shirt being wet, you'd probably be like, well, that's weird. But you would probably think it was a shadow if you're just watching, you know? But yeah, I think like the scene before, the actress put something on the table and hit a fork that flew up in the air, and he tried to catch it, knocked over his wine glass, and poured it on himself. And it was like, oh my God, that's gold. But everyone reacted like, what the fuck? You know, so it wasn't usable.
Oh, no.
Because it was like, everyone's like, what is happening? And we didn't get our lines out. And I think it was me, by the way, who didn't get my line out. Because I was just like,
of course.
What? But yeah, that sucks when there's magic and you still can't use it. But hey, you know, it's part of the deal. Daniel, where can my audience find you? Not physically.
Yeah, please don't. No, I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is it's_Daniel_K. So yeah,
All right.
ITS_Daniel_ the letter K.
Perfect. Daniel, thank you for coming on. This has been fun. I'm glad. I mean, we've been texting, but I'm glad we were able to meet face to face, so to speak.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do this again.
Yeah. I'll let you know how the awards go. Next week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and then I want to see it. I'm excited.
I will definitely send you a link. I'm excited.
Perfect. Thanks,
Cool.
Daniel.
All right. See you, Jeff. All right.
That's it. That's all. Hope you had a ball. Thank you, Daniel, for coming on. Do all the follows, all the likes, all the things. The video is definitely lagging, so I'm not going to make this long. Boom. It's over. Thanks for listening.
It was amazing. I loved it.
Be sure to come back for another great episode
I'm one wing away from Jeff Macolino.
of the Jeff Macolino Podcast.
How much time did you spend on thinking of the name of your podcast? You went just straight, that's my name, I'll add the word podcast to it.
Yup. See you next week.